Today on the Daniel Baldwin Show, viewer mail, and more. You guessed it, viewer mail. Coming at you right now. Hey everybody, welcome to the Daniel Baldwin Show, and let's get to it right now. Janice Anderson of Milwaukee, Wisconsin says, "Hey DB, love your show." Thank you so much, Janice. And what's going on with the Winter Olympics? How come you never say anything about it? That's a good question. Well, let me first say that I was an athlete in high school, throughout college and afterwards. I still, to this day, I'm 65. I'll go play tennis. I've played golf for a long time. I'm having some medical problems right now that have limited my ability, but I'm going to get that straightened out this year. So I'm sure I'll be back out there. So athletics and sports have always been a huge thing in my life. I have to admit, though, that as the years have gone on and I was working at ESPN, working on Fox, for a long time on a sports show, when it becomes work, when you have to report on it, when you have to do it for a living, it can be a bit of a grind. It can be a grind to watch it and see it. It takes a little bit of the enjoyment out of it because it's related to your job. I'll tell you, though, about the Winter Olympics. It's funny you should say that, because as time went on into my 20s into the 30s, but 30s into the 40s, I think you still see how massive and the sports that are involved in the summer games. And I would watch those. I would still watch the Olympics. Not so much the Winter Games. And I'll tell you, because of the Nordic stuff, the skiing, the skating, all the different things that go on, I'm more inclined to see who's the world's fastest man, track and field. Hockey's always interesting to me because of our 1980, the Miracle on Ice. That will always hold us. The upset of the Russians. The Winter Olympics, still, I don't participate and never did participate in as many of the sports that are involved. We always have America's Darling in the gymnastics. That's exciting for me to watch. They've expanded the field in the Summer Olympics, but I don't think I have enough skin in the game in the Winter Olympics. So there's a natural, from my work and from a lack of true hardcore interest in the Winter Olympic sports, for me personally, is why I probably don't talk about it very much. And I'll tell you also, it doesn't seem like we're getting the coverage, the attention to it. I don't think with the expanded amount of influencers and places that you can get your information from, I just don't think it's like it was when I was younger, where when the Winter Olympics came, there was 9 channels you could watch, 9. There wasn't even cable, back when I started watching TV. So you saw it because it was on TV all the time. You were forced, all 9, channels reported about what was going on. And in New York, if the weather was bad, there was like two or three channels with an antenna that you pulled out of the back and stuck a hanger in it to try to get reception. There's just so much access now. The Winter Olympics don't do for me. I want America to do well, don't get me wrong. I follow some of the bigger stories that go on. We had a skier got hurt, she broke her leg, and blah, 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 blah. But when the hockey starts really rolling, and if we're in the medal contention, I'll probably watch that. But I would say for this viewer, I'm just not as interested anymore in the Winter Olympics, and I don't think it gets the kind of focus. I think there's a lot of questions about, the average American's patriotism. I mean, are they fired up to go in and watch America? Are they watching a little bit of something because they follow that sport? It used to be we followed, and I'm probably guilty of this a little bit. I'm not following, and I'm an American. I'm just not that interested. That's my answer. Covering what I think and what I feel. Ooh, the sun's coming through. You see, I got to tell you really quick. I had to walk through the lobby. I'm on the road right now, and I had to find a spot in the hotel, and it was pretty funny. I'll post this video. Let me post the video of what happened when I tried to go outside earlier this morning to do the show. It's pretty funny. I was trying to find a place that was music pumped in the whole hotel, and I found this wing near the big meeting rooms and the ballroom where it was quiet enough, but I'm using the light of the sun coming in. So if I lean out, I'm like this. If I lean in, I look like I'm, the bright side of the moon. So let me stay back here, try to find a medium ground while I do the show. I have to also tell you that this morning, I've challenged a lot of the viewers of the show before. Where do you get your information? And how do you trust that information? And I just read a story, the hate and the horror of what goes on the internet. It was a story about Erica Kirk saying that she's pregnant for her third child and that there's a high chance or the possibility that her other two, which I'm not reporting that. I'm just thinking of the time it took someone to write that all out and report on it and put it online. Just, wow, man. Hasn't this woman had enough? And again, if you're a conspiracy theorist, which I am, and I'm listening to a lot of stuff that Candace Owens has put out and other people have put out about Erica and the role of Mossad was, he threatened by, did he have information about Epstein? Did he cross Netanyahu? I don't know. I haven't seen anything that shows me a video of a meeting that took place or something that, drives it home. Supposedly, Candace knew him very well. They spoke often and he was fearful of things that might happen. There's a lot of theories. I'll tell you this on the assassination really quickly. When they thought that this boy fired the gun that killed him, they tracked him with surveillance video. They had him on the roof. You can remember the whole scenario. He took the gun, he assembled the gun, he shot the gun, he disassembled the gun, he changed his clothes, he shimmied down the side of a building, he ran into the woods right next to it. He reassembled the gun. He disassembled the gun, changed his clothes, reassembled the gun and left it in the woods right near the. So when the FBI tried to get that story by, or whoever tried to get that, I knew there was something. I knew that shot being taken, one shot in the neck, but I knew the kid didn't. But we had all those details about him. We knew his father. We knew what his father did. We had a supposed confession. He turned himself in. He was in a Dairy Queen 15 minutes after with his hands in his pockets. Looked cool as a cucumber after ripping someone's throat apart. There was just so much of it that I reported the second it happened. That kid never took a single shot. Now, they still got him in jail. They're still, going to try to prosecute him. But we've seen all the stuff, most of us that are watching right now, nod your head if you've seen the guy giving the signal, like turning the glass, the shirt going this way and then going that way, and was it entry, was it exit? Certainly enough doubt has been cast on what's going on here to have a reasonable doubt, like in court, that this kid, he didn't do it. Remember something. If I go to the Academy Awards and I hire a security team, my family hires a security team. Justin and Haley hire a security team, which they often do, go to big stars. Don't you think we would know the name of the company, and Justin would know the name of the company that he hired or his people hired to secure him? So should there be some assassination attempt, should there be some terrible, they would be able to know the names of the employees that were there, that were involved in securing his safety. They would know where they're from, their address, their phone number. They'd be employees of the company that was hundreds of thousands of dollars to make sure he made it home safely. The same thing for Charlie Kirk. So when we look at the guy who gave the signal, we look at the guy who turned his glasses on, we look at the guy who tapped his shoulder, but after Charlie was shot, they all, over the table, slid in. You could see, took something, put it in his pocket, we haven't heard one word from any of them. We don't know their name. We don't know the name of the company. We haven't seen anything about them. So when you say things like, was Israel involved? Was working with Mossad? Did he cross Mossad? Were those men agents like CIA type Israel that executed him, that had something to do with his death? You would think because of the fact that we haven't heard anything. There was no tape that went around the crime scene. They were breaking the crime scene down. Those men, same men, breaking it down, removing cameras. At the university, this was on a university's property. They cemented over and sealed the ground with fresh cement. It wasn't cemented. They cemented it over and covered anything that's under it. You can't be unearthed. The evidence is destroyed, it's gone. Camera footage, phantom people in the audience that were yelling and doing things. Witnesses, telephones, warned that they should take down any footage. Warned. Remember how So again, we can see something's not right about that. Watch any forensic file show. Watch how police officers do it. They get there, they look at bullets. We haven't seen the bullet. Shot from a high-powered rifle through his neck. It would have blown out, been in the wall 4 rooms down from it. Was lodged in his neck, a hole in one side. A lot of questions. So where do you get your information? How do you determine what you're going to believe? I had someone write this. I want you to really think about that, because we're forced, depending upon where you get, if you're not open to the fact that what you're reading is complete bullshit, that when you watch my show, and I've had people say, you're delusional, you're this, you're that, you're a Trump guy, you're that. Recently, there was a post that depicted Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, and I turned around and even if Trump, who I don't believe does whip his phone, but even a representative that would even possibly allow such an insulting on his Truth Social. But anyway, how is that such an insulting, disgusting, support a vast majority of things, support what direction we're going in? I think the whole thing about ICE, I think that's a bunch of people on the left trying to fire you up because midterms are coming and they don't want to lose more ground. They don't want to tell you that we're doing really well, that we're doing much better. Your loaf of bread that costs an astronomical amount of money under the Biden administration, your 20 million people that came across the border that are illegal, that some of them, something happens that can't be avoided. Well, it can't be avoided that you detained a young boy who's legally, no, it wasn't avoidable, or they wouldn't have done. He was in an address or around an area where he fell under the investigation that they were doing. That happens all the time. It happens all the time. I played a cop in the Baltimore Homicide Division. They come down and they see somebody that answers a couple questions wrong. They're like, yeah, we'd like to talk to you. We're going to detain you until we know. You see the videos all the time about, are you detaining me? Yes, it's a traffic stop and I smell marijuana. Or you're in a car with someone who's a convicted felon. You become somebody of interest to me. I'd like to know why you're in the car with him, blah, blah. This guy's a murderer. So yes, and sometimes when you're out in the field of battle, friendly fire happens. You get shot by one of your own men in a crossfire. It happened. No one's trying to murder you. You're gone now. We have to report to your family that you're gone, that you're dead, that one of your own men shot you in the field while bullets and bombs were flying, and it happens. Do we boycott the military who took over a whole city and secured our men because of 1 or 2 guys that got? No, we don't. We accept it as part of the casualties of war. So there are casualties that are going to come. 58 people or 56 people were killed in ICE-related incidents under Obama. I didn't see one riot. We feel sad, particularly if it was a kid that got caught shot in something, or just recently some woman got shot by bad guys in her car in Chicago or Minnesota. It was awful. My wife and I were watching. Her kid was in the car with her. Thank God the husband was shot but not killed, and the mommy was 26 years old. She was killed, and the baby was unhurt. That could have turned out to be really bad. And those were bad guys that did it. But sometimes bad shit happens. Sometimes it does. If you're going to take a group of 40 people and keep sending them where ICE agents, trying to provoke them, being paid, these people, good and Pretty, were getting paid to go down there. They were getting wound up in meeting rooms, told what to do, get in between them, get them going, get them pissed. Do you think the people that were organizing those gave a shit whether they were shot? Do you think anybody cared that they're dead now that sent them there to go do it? Nope, but they're the first ones standing up there going, look at this travesty that's happened in Minnesota. Look what's going on. It's terrible. I invite you people that don't want to see death to go out in the field in the Ukraine right now. You send in your dollars. You care so much. Biden gave hundreds of billions of dollars to Zelensky, who's buying real estate in the U.S. now with the money that he made, because he's getting the hell out of there. Go out to the Ukraine and put a gun in your hand. I know how much it means to you. Go with the protesters and step in yourself. Stop bitching about it and writing about it and saying how unjust it is. Go do it yourself and put your life in harm's way. You're not going to do that. You're just going to keep tweeting about it and Instagramming and TikToking about how terrible it is. You're going to have your vote go one way. No. These people came in here illegally. Look at the Guthrie woman. Look at her. Yanked at 84 years old out of her house. Who are you going to call? The Democratic Party? You're going to call the lefty protesters to come help you if someone comes breaking your back door in? No, you're going to call law enforcement. And anything short of supporting law enforcement at every level is unacceptable in this country. That's why we get to live the way we live. That's why everyone comes here. They want to live here in the U.S. They come from all over the world. We don't go live in Russia. We don't go pack up by the hundreds of thousands and go live in China or in the Middle East. We don't. They come here. They want to educate their kids here. They want to learn about our system here. They want to live the type of life that we have here. This is where they all come because it's better. You just have to come and sign up and register, just like in the hotel I'm in here. Hi, sir. Did you have a reservation? I do. I thought ahead of time rather than be some guy that just walks in from the street. I thought ahead of time. I made that reservation. I prepaid my room. I know what type of room I'm supposed to get. And they know how long I'm staying, when I'm going to arrive, when I have to leave by, how much it is. I did all that stuff. You do all that. You do all that when you stay in a hotel. What would make you think for 1 minute, that you're not supposed to enter the same as the guy who's got a really nice business in Southern California? He's been here for multiple generations. His family came over. They signed up. They went through immigration. They took the courses. They learned to speak English. They did blah, blah, and they're thriving in a Mexican-American family. Doing great, living in San Diego, LA, got a great shop, they're advising a bunch of people as financial advisors, they're working at a bank, whatever it is. They came in and they did it the right way. I can't walk here and demand a key and say, I want you to give me money, give me a cell phone, give me health care, give me this, and stay at this hotel without doing it the right way. Why can't I? Why can't I do that? Why can't you support the fact that I want to stay at any fucking hotel I want to? And I want to do it however I want to do it. Because there's a right way and a way of organization and a legal way that it has to be done. These are laws. I watched Obama say, listen, my job is to enforce the laws as he's the last stop. He's the president, the head guy. Until you change those laws, I'm going to enforce them. That's my job. Good. Trump is enforcing the laws of our land. You don't like the way he's doing it? You go pick up a gun and you find the guy that raped 2 girls. I don't see anybody out there on the left side protesting about the murders of these young women. And I mean, it's hundreds, and their families miss their daughters. And the children miss their mother. Killed by illegals that had records that came over that had no right to be, and they should have been in this. All under Joe Biden. So that part pisses me off. Because it was a plan. It was what they wanted. And now, instead of looking at how some of the bad things that have happened to some people, and they've happened. This is part of the number of people involved in this huge operation. But remember something. If I go light your house on, and you and and a couple of your children, God forbid, and they know I did it. If we find the guy that kidnapped this woman in Arizona, there's going to be a lot of people that, if she turns out to not make it, there's going to be a lot of people that really don't like this because she's an old woman and she's a celebrity's mom who's well-liked. There's going to be a lot of people that want to see him. They do. They want him to get the game burr. There'll be a lot of people that don't like him. So how do we do it? This kid that initially we all believe shot Charlie Kirk. If someone had hit up on a rooftop and shot him when they took him into custody, would that have been okay with you? It turns out he probably didn't do it. If they find the guy until we're sure he did it, short of a confession, it'd probably be better for you not to action yourself because that would be illegal. But you don't know. You don't know until you're going to, if you find out that the kid that lit if it was me, and someone put it in my ear, and someone told me what to go do, and someone trained me to go do it, and showed me how to make the gasoline bomb that burns down the house, are you going to be equally upset with them? Because no one seems to be that upset with what's going on with ICE, about why ICE is there. And they've been under Clinton, under Bush, under Obama, under Biden. They've been doing the same thing. They're just doing it under Trump now. There's people that can't stand Trump, that can't accept the fact that he beat their ass a second, that can't stand that he's taken away the banking money from them and their funds to do all the illegal shit that they do, that them and their friends have been living high on the hog while you and I pay exorbitant. The 20 million people that were left that were allowed to come in under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, Trump promised he was going to start getting them out, especially the bad ones first. This happened, and what's happening with ICE and this loss of life, because of Donald. It's because of what Biden and Harris did. It's because while we all said, shut the border down, stop. Look at the number of people that are in these little towns that are beautiful in Ohio, that are ruining Ohio right now. Look at the number of Somalians that are in. I have nothing against Somalia. I don't care. Come in, register so we can trace back and make sure you're not doing anything. You have to submit your bank records and don't come in and commit fraud and steal hundreds of billions of dollars from taxpayers and ministers. Get them out. You don't even need a trial anymore. Not under my administration. You don't need a trial. If I have video evidence, I have the banking evidence, and the girl's caught at the airport. Did you see the girl with a sack of money she was taking back to Somalia? American taxpayer dollars, all fraud. Yeah, you're guilty. Get the fuck out. Get out. Get out. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. And if you don't like that because you're going to tell me that's unconstitutional and that's un-American, then you're in on it too. You are. There are people in Minnesota, it's going all the way to Waltz's office, it's going all the way to Congress people and high-end business people that were benefiting from getting these people processed and getting their legal papers for the businesses that was committing fraud. They pushed all that because they were getting kickbacks. Watch, it's going to be so big. Waltz is going to step down. He's a criminal. He's criminal if he's in on this. He participated in a criminal act of fraud against the government to collect hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars for child care that didn't even exist. There are no children in those books. It's awful what we're talking about. That's my short show I'm doing a short one, get some things. But I just wanted to say, make sure you check your sources. Make sure really that you look at it. I've had people, close people, telling me about this happened under Trump and he said this. And I said, listen, I'm not above criticizing Donald Trump when he does the stupid shit he just did to the Obamas. I'm going to call him, or even if it wasn't him, his administration, then you need to fire that person. And you need to throw him under the bus in front of the American people and say, this guy was fired. Or maybe not even give his name, just say, he's been replaced. That was a mistake. So no, I don't care. You have to do it with me based on your merit and your action. Know that. And that I go back and I look at stuff that, again, this Erica Trump thing, I'm fact checking it. I'm not finding facts. Talk to Candace Owen. Anyway, listen, everyone. God, thank you, Lord, for your guiding hand. And thank you, Lord, for your children. God, I thank you for things in the bounty in my wife. And as we go through today, Lord, I hope that you will show me signs that indicate some of the answers to the questions I'm asking, because I need you to make it obvious. So I ask you that. And God, the people that we're talking about, even people that committed crimes in Minnesota and all of them, God, I ask you to make them right. I ask you to shine your abundance on them, shine your light and bring them to. So God, I thank you so much. So there it is. There's today's show. Yeah, that source of, I gotta tell you, sometimes I watch and I can tell when it's someone just winging it. Sometimes it seems, but when it comes from a celebrity that I know, when it comes from a politician that's social, I would think, aren't they held to a higher standard to report stuff that's, and then I hear some of the stuff they're saying and I go, wait a second, I know that. Sometimes I was involved in it or I was there to witness it and I hear the version of the story that comes out and I go, that's not what happened. I was there. I know for a fact that he did not do that or that I did not do that. Or, I could tell you stories, times when my mother, God rest her soul, when she called me up, something was in the news that I supposedly did. One time in particular, I remember, and she called me up and my mom was never able to figure out that it was 3 hours earlier. So when she had something she wanted to talk to me about, and it was 7 o'clock in the morning in New York, it was 4 in the morning in LA, and she'd wake me up and go, Associated, and blah, blah. And I go, you're calling my home number in LA. How did I do something? It's 4 o'clock. Oh, it's okay, honey. It would be physically impossible, Starship Enterprise transporter room, to have done something at 12 o'clock at night in Miami, 4 o'clock in the morning here, and you're waking my bed. I wasn't in Miami. Try to convince my mom of that because a news outlet or a reporter called my mother to ask her, giving that report, that my mother, the details of what they heard about an arrest or something. And this happened a bunch of times. Not that I wasn't capable back in the day, before I got sober, of getting in trouble myself. I was. And there's some of the things that they say I did, not many, but some, that I was either involved in or I was around there or I was with some friends, me, Charlie Sheen or Tom Sizemore or whoever it was. I might have witnessed some of them. Check your sources. Do your homework. Think about what the person that's saying it has to gain. I don't have anything to gain to tell you the things. I don't. I give it to you freely because I want you to know how much deceit and lies are. Be careful when you formulate it, because your opinion that you're formulating becomes your vote, becomes where you send your money, becomes what you're associated with. And I want you to be in line with God. I want you to be in the right place with the Lord Jesus so that He's watching and making sure that you're acting. God bless you, and I'll talk to you next time.